You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
And thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. As always, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan, on the Big Nate Sports Talk podcast. This is episode 466 of the podcast. This episode is officially the start of the WNBA Playoffs. I've seen the title. Before we get into it, there's a few things I want to say up front. You should have already seen the Baltimore Ravens and Washington Commanders recaps respectfully. After this video, the Maryland Terrapins preview against Taos University. That is our final non-conference matchup before we get into Big Ten play. So that will be done. That'll be episode 467. How the playoffs are, the matchups are a little different this year. So the playoffs start Sunday, which is kind of fast compared to, always kind of fast track, but that's okay. I will upload the Washington Mystics into the season media availability on the YouTube channel. I'll do that tomorrow. You should see on the channel sometime around the afternoon-ish, and the Connecticut Suns. So be on the lookout for that. I will have a guest on in just a little bit, but how we're doing this episode, we're just previewing the teams and their matchups. Okay, so basically, we got our 8 teams. It took the last 2 days of the WNBA season to determine the final couple seeds, and my predictions were fair. Honestly, I did call it in the beginning of the season that I did predict that the Los Angeles Sparks would not make the playoffs. I did get that right. Unfortunately, I got it wrong with the Washington Mystics, but that's okay. Other than that, I think I was pretty much accurate. I did think Vegas would hold on to that 2 spot. I didn't think they would be where they are now, but it's good to see where they are. But anywho, let's get into it. The first matchup, the Golden State Valkyries versus the Minnesota Lynx, the number 1 seed, Minnesota. It's interesting. Minnesota has a winning percentage over 75%. That's also the same winning that or higher. The last time they've also made the WNBA Finals in their last championship appearances. I still think they still have a chip on their shoulder from last year, especially how they lost in the winner-take-all last year, Game 5. We all know how this year, in terms of MVP conversation, has been. And I think even when the fee went down, give Shar Reeves credit, Minnesota was still a well-oiled engine without fee. So I wish they won 5 games because, again, they still had a decent rotation. To me, the biggest thing is their size. And you look at this season, even in the offseason, they didn't get any bigger. I thought even with the trade. Again, I'm curious to see, even with Kayla Thornton out, I do think that will be something to watch. I think Timmy, a couple of the players, I'm curious to see how they do with Letitia. Interesting what they do with their size. But their defense for Minnesota is still one of the best. But it's going to be interesting to see how, especially in as it progresses to see how they'll look. But just for this matchup alone, I'm really curious to see how they will look against a Golden State team. This is the first expansion team, especially making the playoffs in their first season. But my biggest thing is they are the worst offense, the bottom five. Just scoring under 80 points a game. That's the fourth fewest in the league. From the field, they're shooting just above 40%. I think it's 41% just to be exact. Veronica Burton, who is your leading scorer, averaging 12 points a game. That's great. But outside of that, I need others to step up. I mean, their defense has been the glue for them, but like scoring runs, and that too is key. Like your defense may not be just enough to make a run. So I'm curious to see how that'll look in this matchup, but interesting to see. With this matchup of the number 2 seed and the 7th seed, the Las Vegas Aces and the Seattle Storm. For a little background, from where this team for the Aces, where they were almost prior to the summer, most people wrote them off to be riding a 16-game winning streak into the playoffs. From when they lost by 53 points to Minnesota, since then, they have not looked back, and you have to give them their flowers. Asia Wilson has been playing like, to me, is an MVP conversation. Jackie Young, all of them. Jewel Lloyd has been playing since coming off the bench, playing better. Melissa Smith, you got to give her credit. Excuse me. They've all done exceptionally well, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they look. For me, it's just I just don't know how you can really beat them. Honestly, I mean, honestly and truthfully, like I don't really see anything other than their bench. To me, is going to be their key. Their defense to me has always been their identity, even going back to Bill Laimbeer. I mean, I just don't see a flaw in beating Seattle, honestly. So, but we'll see. But for this next team that's facing the Seattle Storm, I'm going to bring on a guest and the person who covers the Seattle Storm, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Mr. Brenden Potts.
What's up? Hey, guys. Nate, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Brenden? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk about the Seattle Storm.
All right, go ahead. Let us know what your thoughts on the matchup against Vegas.
Yes, sir. So the Seattle Storm, it's kind of been a rocky kind of season. A good start. I think we started 13-8. I'm writing the preview right now, so or the preview of the series. So I think that's what I had us going in. But then we lost 23 of the last we lost a lot of games. Not gonna cap. I think I gotta look at the exact numbers, but we lost a lot of games after that 13-8 start, and if that included a 6-game winning streak where we tumbled down the standings. And it's kind of been I think the seasons for Vegas and Seattle were basically kind of the opposite. And I think Seattle is looking at it, and honestly, I think Vegas should view it as the same thing, even though they've won so much in the past month and a half. Seattle is looking at this as a 0-0 start. Not like they're wiping away the whole past. They're learning from it, but they're wiping it away and focusing on the next game, which I think it's great what Vegas has done, but I think they should do the same thing. And when you do that, you got to look at the at the talent and veteran leadership that they have. Neko Gumake, she's been the driving force on offense, and on defense too. She's been great. But she's the team's leading scorer. She's an all-star this year. She's played fantastic. Skylar Diggins has played amazing as well. I would call her the head of the snake. For Seattle, I think, Noah Quinn would call Chelsea Gray the head of the snake for Vegas as well. But Skylar Diggins, I have her as the head of the snake for Seattle. She's played fantastic. When talking about the Storm and Skylar, last year she was more of a playmaker. This year she's more of a scorer with the absence of Jewel Lloyd, not on the roster. And then around those two veterans, you have Gabby Williams, who's taken it to the next level, playing her first full year on the Storm since 2022, and with a full season, and taking it to the next level. She's been named an all-star for the first time, so she's an all-star. And then you have Brittany Sykes, a defensive catalyst in the backcourt, next to Skylar, another all-star. So I think kind of the theme here is that you have a lot of stars in this starting five, and you have a lot of star power in this series. It's going to come down to the others, and this is where I think players like Ezzie McMcGore, who's not having as good of a year to her standards as she could, I think she, and I think our other center, Dominique Malonga, coming up the bench, and Erica Wheeler coming up the bench as well, a guard who has stepped up in the big moments the last couple of games down the stretch as they attempted to make that final push for the postseason. I think those three players could be our X factors or our difference makers. If you want to convince someone off the street that the Storm can win this series, they're gonna have to step up big time to kind of gauge the offense and really push the bench as Nate, or push the advantage of the bench towards Seattle favor. As Nate said when talking about Vegas, it's going to come down to it'll probably come down to the bench of which, or if Becky's going to use her bench, and if whose bench can have the edge. That's where Seattle's going to have to show up is with those three players, even though as he starts. I have to, this might be because I cover the Storm, or I root for the Storm, or whatever. I do see, or of course I have to see flaws in Vegas. I haven't dug too deep into what they are, but I know that there are flaws because the Storm have beaten them twice. And I know both teams have changed in the two early times that we beat Vegas, but those losses have happened. And I think the Storm are going to not fully base their evaluation of the series based off of those two. I think they're going to look at those games as a piece of the puzzle, right? I think they're going to look at those as, hey, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? To a degree, because both teams have changed. I think for Vegas, if I'm on Seattle side, I'm looking at Vegas, I'm a little, I'm questioning what Nalissa Smith's role is going to be as an opponent, but also what's the personnel change on on Seattle's side now that Jewel Lloyd has come off the bench, because I'd have to go back, and I will when I do my before I come out with my series preview. I don't believe Jewel Lloyd came off the bench to 2 wins that they had. I think at least one of the 2 losses she did come off the bench. So how does that change? How does that personnel change, or that strategy change now that Jewel Lloyd's coming off the bench? This is going to be a great series. As much as I am tired, it's not even that I'm worried about the Aces. Guys, we faced the Aces 4 out of the last 5 years in the play, or 4 out of the last 5 years. And the 1 year that we didn't face the Aces was in 2023 when we didn't make the playoffs. So it's not even that I'm worried about them necessarily. It's just that I'm so damn tired of seeing the Aces in the playoffs. But it's just a matter of things. You gotta suck it up, and you gotta get on with it. So this is probably going to be one of, if not the best series of the first round for sure.
Interesting. Do you have an idea how this series will go?
I think it'll go. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I'll tell you that. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I was talking to someone about a different article, and an article that I wrote that's controversial, but it's not too controversial. Besides the point, but I'm gonna use the same phrase that I used when talking about that article. Am I betting all of my money on this going to 3 games? No. Am I going to be surprised that it's a sweep? No. But as I've said before, just because it's a sweep, especially in a 2 out of 3, doesn't mean the games are bad. Doesn't mean the Storm got killed, or vice versa. Doesn't mean the Aces just didn't show up. Mm-hmm. It could be 2 great games. Could be 3 great games. But it's just gonna show on the series score that it's a 2-0 or a 2-0 or a 1 or a 2-1. I know game 1 I've got the Aces. That game in Seattle is where I'm 50-50. Of course I want the Storm to win. Of course I do. You just heard me on my I wouldn't even call it a rant. I'm tired of the Aces. I'm tired of them, man. I was thinking the last couple of weeks of the regular season, when we were talking about them when they were a little worse than 14-14, and the Storm were like 3 or 4 in the standings. I'm like, wow, thank God we don't have to face the Aces in the first or in the playoffs, because we faced them for so many years in a row. And now fast forward, we're facing them in the first round of the playoffs. So what was me? Biggest slap in the face that I could get. Again,
it's not a slap in the face. I mean, you got Seattle at one point was a 4th, 5th seed.
Yeah.
And then you had that period where I think it was the whole month of July, I want to say, where
after the All-Star break. Yeah.
You could not win a game. So
yeah, no, we couldn't win a game. And we couldn't beat teams that we were supposed to beat. So I'm not making any excuses for them. I'm not. They dug, and they're not making any excuses for themselves either. They dug their own hole. Now they got to lay in it. And unfortunately, the hole that they dug is as big as Las Vegas. Please don't look at me crazy, because you know where I'm coming from. but I've got the Storm in 3.
Okay.
Please don't. And again, will I be surprised if Vegas wins? Will I be surprised if Vegas sweeps? No, because they are a great team. Asia Wilson is amongst the top 3 in MVP. She's having a phenomenal year. And, Vegas has really picked it up from when we were talking about them last. So like you said, you have to give them their flowers. So, but I gotta roll with my team, man. I gotta roll with them.
No, I respect it. This is the same Seattle Storm team that went 7-10, where Las Vegas did not lose a game respectfully. But these are the same 2 teams that are top in blocks. So, we're going to see a worthy game with how defense, because defense does win championships. So that'd be something to watch for sure.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. These 2 teams are defensive oriented. Pick the unders in the set totals. Pick the unders because you're gonna see a lot of defense. I can't remember what I was. Shoot, no, I keep losing my train of thought.
It's okay.
If I remember it, I'll ask you though.
Yep. No. This final point before I move into the next team. With the Storm, my only concern is you're late in the fourth quarter. Example, you guys really, honestly, the way how that game ended, to the game to get to secure the final playoff spot, that's something to watch. So
the game, I was there. I was there. It was pandemonium. But you do bring up a great point with the fourth quarter, because I thought you were going to bring up the LA Sparks games. I really thought you were going to bring up those games, because you have those games where it's all but locked up. You're cruising to the win. You're deciding on what's for dinner, or like where are we going out tonight? And Seattle in the fourth quarter, they just kind of play laissez-faire in the fourth quarter. And that's I've seen it multiple times, but especially against the Sparks. And they just, the Sparks with all their energy, they come out and they just, pardon my language, they bitch slap you. And Seattle I've seen it over time and time and time again. When they get bitch slapped again, pardon my language, they're like a deer in headlights, and then they just play with no urgency down the stretch in the last couple of moments. Because when a team just smacks them in the face and gives them a reality check, hey, we're still here. You didn't win this game yet. This game has not hit triple zeros, or this clock has not hit triple zeros. And it gets to crunch time of those games, Seattle just like, what happened? And they do that for the rest of the game. So yeah, you're absolutely valid in the fourth quarters of those games, because even last season when we lost to them, we had, I believe it was game 2. No, it was game 1. I'm sorry. It was game 1. We had a lead going into the fourth quarter, and Vegas just beat the crap out of us in the fourth quarter. So if history repeats itself, which so far for the Storm this season it has, unfortunately, man, I felt like I can pick which game it was too, but I felt like I was watching deja vu from last season. Yeah, I would be laughing, but instead it's negative deja vu. So, but anyways, if history repeats itself, Seattle's got to be Seattle. I mean, either way, Seattle's got to be more prepared in the fourth quarter. And I think I'm curious to see how Seattle comes out, because I know there's a lot of players on this team. I think most of them were there last season when that whole situation went down, and they got eliminated, and then the whole situation came out in the off season. It just all went shit hit the fan. Again, pardon my language. I want to see how motivated they are to win this series, because they basically get a do-over against the same team. They basically get a rematch, and I want to see if they really come out with revenge in their hearts. Because namely Skylar, namely NECA, but I'm mainly looking at Skylar. But I want to see how they come out. And also on that same aspect, how motivated is Brittany on that same level? How motivated is Brittany Sykes to help this team? And when I say like this team, I mean like most of the players from last year's Seattle team is on this team, and they're in the same situation in the playoffs. How motivated is Brittany to help this team get past, basically exercise their demons? And also on the same, last thing I'll say for this, I know I've been talking a while on this. Brittany Sykes, this is what you wanted. You wanted to be traded to contend for a championship. I don't care what seed you are in the playoffs. You are competing for a championship. This is what you wanted. Come out and help us beat this team. You got what you asked for. Now come and deliver.
Interesting.
Those are the things I'm looking for on that aspect. And I'm speaking motivationally because, Nate, I hate the Aces.
We get it.
I hate them. I'll respect them. I respect what Asia's doing. I respect the job that Becky Hamm is doing. She gets really big credit for this, no matter what anybody else says. Dude, I've gotten into group chat. I've gotten into scuffles with group chats over how this turnaround is not just Asia. She's a very big part of it, but it's not just Asia. You got to give credit where credit is due. But at the end of the day, I hate the Aces. I hate them. So, Storm in 3.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, thank you, Brenden, for that lovely soliloquy of the Seattle Storm. We'll see what it should look like in this. It should be interesting. I didn't really get my factor for Vegas. Outside of Jewel Lloyd, just continue to hit her shot.
I got it. I got my train back. I'm so sorry, but I just remembered.
Okay.
I want to know your thoughts on if you think this will be the best series of the first round. I genuinely want you to want to see what you think, because I could think of one other series that could be better.
This is probably be the second best.
Okay.
I think so. Yes.
Have we talked about your first yet?
No.
Okay. Cool.
No.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. Cool.
Yep. But outside of that, Jewel Lloyd just continued to be hitting her stride, especially coming off the bench, which I think has benefited her really much since for the most part. I think that's just key. I do expect the bench to get smaller, but especially now with Cheyenne Parker-Tyus back, especially in the little sample size that she has shown, they should be all right. I'm going to say, I didn't even say it for Minnesota, but I'm going to say, I'll say that at the end. But yeah, this should be interesting. This should be an interesting matchup, for sure. But Brenden, thank you, sir. We appreciate you. we are going to now talk about the Atlanta Dream and the Indiana Fever. In this one, I think this could be the best matchup in my personal opinion. I From where I think this team is, I think this team got a little bit better from the year before. I still think I have Alicia Gray as an MVP candidate. Carl Semesco is me. I have him as one of my coaches of the year. You'll see it on one of my lists for WNBA Awards potentially. They won twice as many games this year as they did the year before. But unfortunately, this is what the last since 2013, where they got swept. They lost in the 3 WNBA Finals appearances, 2010, 11, and 13. But I mean, their depth is something to not ignore for sure that I've been definitely paying attention to. And I think it's been the best depth outside of with Jordan Canada and Ryan Howard, what they missed 27 games combined. Naz Hillman, 6th player of the year. I mean, I do not think she'll be disqualified as 6th woman of the year because she did start. She's been starting since August. BG, I think, has better coming off the bench. Brianna Jones, I don't think Brianna, for some unknown reason, I don't know what this is. I feel like we don't give Brianna Jones the respect that she deserves. I feel like every year, especially since post the bubble, her statistically, and I think as a player, she has gotten better. And I just feel like this year she's taken a step forward and she's adjusted well into this system. Maya Cardwell, I think especially has been a player I think really no one's really talked about because especially even starting in 16 games, she's done what they've asked her, whether it's on the defensive side, whether it's on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Alicia Gray, who's been doing her thing, I mean, they were one of the top 3-point shooting teams. Their post play to me is key. But, I mean, again, how would that look against down the stretch? That's remained to be seen. Indiana, I know they've dealt with injuries. God bless them. Losing Caitlin, Sophie, Ari, Chloe Bibby, Sydney Colston. They have been through a lot. But give Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston their flowers. But it's going to be interesting to see how they look. But for me, I'm curious to see how Coach Stephanie White will adjust to their 3-point offense. That's going to be key. We'll see how that looks. So, if you asked me today, if you take away the injuries, because more than likely, it's going to be Odyssey, Lexi, Natasha, Leah, Kelsey. That lineup, that could get you, they could force a game 3 for sure. I could see that. I don't think it's going to be a sweep, but I think it can get you for sure. I just think, especially, I think the way with Kelsey Mitchell, especially how she's played, and even with Natasha Howard and Lexi Hull, I think they've really found that momentum those last 3 games. I really, really think this that offense has shown without Caitlin, they could put up. They could still find they're still capable of scoring the ball. Even with Leah Boston in the post and different things like that defensively. She should be in the defensive player of the year conversation, in my opinion. But I think that they'll be fine. I'm not worried. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think that I think Indiana will come out and get a win. Because I think that resiliency has been key. Because I mean, they would average the 3rd best in the league in terms of points. But it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how, with BG coming off the bench, it's going to be interesting to see. But Atlanta's 3-point game. Live by the 3, die by the 3. That's going to be interesting to see as well. That could be key. But I'm going to see how those injuries look, because that depth for Indiana is going to be something. Sure, you got Shea Petty, Ariel Powers, IDC Sims, who've all adjusted well into Stephanie White's system. But defensively, they've been inconsistent. Whether that's struggling to defend without fouling. And again, like, I wouldn't say their offense is limited, but you kind of see when Caitlin's not out there how their offense looks. So, everything kind of Kelsey is like everything goes as far as Kelsey, and I even think how far even Aaliyah takes it. So, because especially their guard and wing depth, I think might come back to bite them. But I'm going to say for this matchup, I'm going to say the Atlanta Dream in 3, personally. I'm going to bring back on Brenden for the Phoenix Mercury and the Liberty New York matchup. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the best series of the first round, if not Seattle and Vegas. But I think you have two evenly matched teams in my opinion. I think New York is they're basically the biggest thing for them right now is that they're healthy. They're fully healthy. I think that the last game of the season they played all their or they were completely full clean bill of health, and I think that's the thing that's been hampering them the entire last part of the season is health, and I think that's why they've tumbled down the standings. But I mean, it's going to be interesting because if you break it down, you got the two guards in the backcourt for New York. You got Sabrina and Natasha Cloud. You got Maureen Johannes. You got Brianna Stewart and Jonquil Jones in the front court. Jonquil Jones is going to be the X factor, is one of the X factors in the front court. At least in the starting 5. I think the other one is Leonie Fibich. I think she's a definite X factor as well. And then Stewie can turn it on and off at any point, especially in postseason. She's a real postseason player. She really turns it on when the playoffs start. I know that a lot watching her in Seattle. And it definitely hasn't changed in New York, except she's wearing a different jersey. But on the other side, you've got a team. You want to talk a team that's defied, or talk about a team that's defied expectations. We didn't think Phoenix was going to be anywhere near as good as they are. And I remember we were talking about Phoenix, and we didn't know what we were getting with them. But credit to Nate Tibbetts. I've met him a couple of times. He's an awesome dude. Nate Tibbetts and the job that he's done with this team, he's really prided them on defense. You're going to see a lot of defense in these playoffs because, of course, defense wins championships. But he's prided this team on defense, and they've become like a really, really, really good defensive team this season. And I covered a game in Phoenix, and it was a little bit of a rocky game. They barely beat the Chicago Sky, but Chicago played tough. But I watched the game, and the engine that drives the Phoenix Mercury, they've been saying it all year, is MVP candidate Alyssa Thomas. And we really have to give credit to the season that she's having, because she now has 8 triple-doubles. That's never been done in WNBA history. And she broke the record for most triple-doubles in a season. Oh, by the way, she broke her own record for most triple doubles in a season. When she got 7 triple doubles, and I wrote an article promptly after that. They've got Alyssa Thomas. She's the engine that drives the ship. They've got the Mac truck. They've got Natasha Mack. They've got Kalea Copper. They've just got so many great players on their roster that we all thought was going to be just a mess, just a big gigantic mess. But when they work well, they could be one of the best teams in the league, and that's what they are. They are working extremely well. And then you add DeWanna Bonner into the mix, and who knows how that's going to work, right? I said earlier, big slap in the face for me thinking that Seattle's not going to play the Aces. Well, I'll take it on the chin, definitely, for saying that DeWanna Bonner Phoenix was the last place DeWanna Bonner should go when she was a free agent. I said that at least a couple of times, while she was a free agent. I stood on it, and I've taken the crap for it. I haven't taken any crap for it, but any crap that's given to me, I'll take it, because I was wrong. That was one of the ones where I was wrong. I've made my bed. I've laid in it, and she has worked phenomenally well. Coming off the bench, she comes off the bench for I didn't even mention Satu Sabali. That's how much star power this team has. I forgot about Satu Sabali. DeWanna Bonner comes off the bench for Satu whenever she needs a rest or whenever she's in foul trouble. So it works out well in the long run. This is going to be such a great matchup. And you got two great coaches in Nate Tibbetts and Sandy Brondello, despite what New York Liberty fans say about their own head coach. But it has to go to 3 games, right? This has to go to 3 games. And just because these two teams are so great, oddly enough, I think what it's going to come down to is the X factor. It's going to come down to the X factor. And when I say X factor, I texted you, Lexi Hole, X factor, Jonquil Jones, X factor. No. When I talk about X factor, I talk about the great fans of the Phoenix Mercury. I think obviously, I think the Seattle Storm is the best home court advantage in the league. I think Vegas is up there as well. I think New York Liberty fans would say New York is up there as well. But man, Phoenix is incredible. Phoenix is an amazing arena to be in. It's an amazing fan base. They really love their Phoenix Mercury. And I think that 4 seed and that home court advantage is going to play to their advantage it's going to really play to their advantage in the first round. And I'm going with the Phoenix Mercury in 3, and they take down the defending champs.
Interesting.
I didn't even mention Tammy Wickham. My bad.
That's all good. This is the first time. Well, let me wrap me back up. Phoenix hasn't won a playoff game since Coach Brondello was fired in 2021.
After they went to the finals.
This roster, on paper, this matchup actually, on paper, is actually a good matchup. Even though I still think the year where AT was in the MVP conversation with Asia and Stewie, I thought was a good season for her. I think this has been her best year for AT for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, the difference with that with that season and this season is she's surrounded by more 3-point shooting. And actually, AT's not been afraid to actually shoot the ball. I've seen a little bit more with the mid range, but that's okay. It's interesting to really kind of see how with New York is their injuries. Now, I mean, this is everyone's back fully healthy. Remember, they were 9-0 to start the season, and then it's like a domino effect. Sabrina, JJ got hurt, Stewie got hurt, and then after that was what it was. I think they finished 500, and 4 of those losses were against playoff teams. And sure, you could blame Sandy and how she did certain stuff, but at the end of the day, like when you don't have key personnel, and when you don't also chemistry that wasn't meshing together. I mean, the same thing people were trying to point out with the Las Vegas Aces last year, but it's interesting how the goalpost moves, but that's neither here nor there. But I think for me, my biggest X factor for me is really Phoenix's 3-point shooting. They're 12-1, if I remember seeing that stat correctly, when they're shooting over 40%. But again, when you're at home and you got the crowd supporting you, all the different things like that, that should give you the energy that you need. I think they had the record league 3-point when they beat New York was back in June. I think they shot 18 threes. So that should be interesting to see. But also too, like, I'm curious to see what kind of lineup she'll put out there against them. Because Emma Meeseman, I mean,
oh yeah,
let's not forget Emma Meeseman was a Finals MVP. So she's going to be a factor in this. Niara Sabli. It's going to be interesting to see how they all look for the Liberty. But also too, like, Phoenix is a good, strong defensive team as well. But I think they were the 3rd best. I remember seeing that. That's been the best as they were since 2019. So, because they are 13-0 when all 5 players are in double figures. I'm bringing your head on that stat, but yeah, it should be interesting. But my player X factor is Satu Sabli. I feel like, respectfully, as much as I love Satu to pieces, but I feel like Satu has, from Dallas, and I understand with all the injuries and all that stuff, but she is getting paid like a star, and this is kind of her moment, her shining moment. So she's my X factor for sure.
She's also kind of taking she's in a different role than she was in Dallas. So you kind of have to see what she's done for Phoenix and kind of take that into consideration.
I disagree, but
I get it, but I'm also factoring that in a little bit. Something I did forget a couple things I forgot to mention. One, I won't leave. I'll get criticized to the end of time if I don't mention Valhalla as a home court, as a great home court advantage. So, or as a great fan base. So I just want to put that out there. But with this series in general, there's so many storylines. I hear. While I was talking initially, then while I was focusing on what you were saying, like, so many storylines came into my head. You got the Sabli sisters going head to head, Satu and Niara. You got Sandy Brondello coaching in the first round against her former team. You got Natasha Cloud playing against her former team for the first time. I mean, there's so many storylines in this series, which I think, I hope they're all covered by the people who are covering this game, or this series. I'm sorry. But it's just going to make that series, or this series, that much more entertaining. So
yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. One thing also I did want to point out as well, really quick, with that matchup against Minnesota and Golden State, I didn't pick out who was going to win. I do think Golden State can get a win. I don't think there's going to be a sweep in this round at all. I think
These
there
are
will
all
be.
going to be sweeps.
I will say. Let me say it this way: there are, out of these matchups, one team will sweep. But I will say Golden State will not get swept. I think Golden State, their defense, I think they'll upset Minnesota.
In the first round?
No. I said they will surprise them. I think they'll come out, punch them in the mouth, because we've seen Minnesota have games like that, and like, oh, okay. So yep. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, really quick, since this is also since Thursday was the last week of the regular season, we're just really quick, just down the stretch. My last regular season rankings: 13 was the Dallas Wings, Chicago Sky 12, the Mystics 11, Connecticut 10, Los Angeles 9, Indiana 8, New York 7, Seattle 6, Golden State at 5, Phoenix at 4, Atlanta 3, Vegas at 2, and Minnesota at 1. That was my final regular season rankings for this regular season for the WNBA, which went by really, really fast. We're going to take a break. I do have my WNBA awards prediction list, just for the record. Please don't be mad at me. It's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. But we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so it's that time of the year. I've also forgot to mention, I do have a special one final thought. We're going to close it out on that special. It's not special, but it is a very, it's not on a somber note, but I thought it was very out of respect to talk about it and just give this special individual their flowers. So that's going to be our one final thought as before we after this segment. But really, this WNBA awards, especially when it comes to MVP and especially the MVP conversation is kind of at this point, it's starting to give me a headache because everyone has been, what I've seen on social media has been literally moving their goalpost and, redefining what MVP is and discrediting, like, for example, when Minnesota started out strong after the month of May, people proclaimed Nafisa as the MVP. Vegas has this turnaround, and there's individuals that are brushing aside, oh, the winning streaks doesn't matter, as an example. I think for me, I had five MVP candidates. I also had Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year. So this is just my predictions. And just for the record, I don't have a vote.
Neither do I, guys. Sorry.
So I think this is fair. And Brenden, I just also want to get your thoughts on this too. So let me know if you can. You see that?
Yep.
All right. So Here it is. These are my season awards. This is in no chronological order. These are just my final finalists for each award for this year for MVP. Here are my 5 candidates for MVP: Asia Wilson, Alyssa Thomas, Alicia Gray, Kelsey Mitchell, Nafisa Collier. Most improved player: Veronica Burton, Azrae Stevens, Naz Hillman, Shakira Austin, Olivia Nelson Odada. Rookie of the Year: Paige Beckers, Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, Dominique Malonga, Sanaya Rivers, Anissa Morrow, and Layla Lacan. Defensive Player of the Year, which is, I'll get to that in just a second. AT, Asia, Nafisa, Alana Smith, Gabby Williams. And then Sixth Woman of the Year. That was tough, but I just had Naz Hillman and Natisa Heidemann. And then Coach of the Year, this was my candidates. Natalie.
Yeah, where's Chris Cook-Lanes?
Anyway, Brenden. Anywho, Coach Natalie Nakase, Carl Semesco, Cheryl Reeves, Becky Hammond, Sydney Johnson, and Nate Tibbetts. Again, that is in no particular order. And then this is my all WNBA teams. I really am strongly advocating. I'm asking the WNBA, we really need to have a third WNBA all team. I don't know why we don't have one. That makes no sense. But it was really kind of hard. I could one point really kind of like, I'm thinking, oh man. But I think for sure, AT, Nafisa, Asia. But I think the first team, in my opinion, I think that's fair. I make a strong argument. Brianna Jones should make it all WNBA team. Aaliyah Boston should. NECA, Jackie Young, and Skylar. And that, then that'd be my all third if there was all third WNBA team. And then my all rookie teams: Paige, Sonia, Kiki, Monique, Akoya Makani from the Phoenix Mercury, and then Dominique Malonga. And then the second all rookie team: Pow Pow, Nisa, Lacan, and then oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. Where she plays for the Salon, she plays for the Golden State Valkyries, and the Sanaya Rivers. So
Saloon.
Thank you. Saloon.
Yeah. Valkyries have a lot of names you can't pronounce. I learned that the hard way.
That's okay. But most important is you got to learn how to pronounce and also on the spell, because we saw some reporters not do that. But just really quick, want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, you kind of. I'm glad that you said that they're not in order, because you kind of scared me a little bit with that MVP list. No, I think okay, MVP's fair. I think I'm not any shade on Ono at all, but I think you just put that. I think you just put her in there as a fifth name, which is, again, no shade at all, or like nothing against her. I think that's fine. But I do like the Dominique Malonga love as well, in the rookie list as well. I think she would have been higher had she gotten more of a role, because she's played fantastic the last half of the season, given the opportunity, and we've talked about that at the beginning of the season that was going to happen. It's just a matter of when, but she's played fantastic this season. I'd be really, really, really happy if I were a Connecticut fan right now. And Washington as well, but really Connecticut, because man, Layla Lacan, Sanaya Rivers, they've really come into their own, especially defensively. And I got a buddy who's a diehard Connecticut fan, and he's like through the roof excited Now he's a little too excited because he's comparing Layla Lacan to Gabby Williams in this year, which I've kind of set him straight. But he's made some great points. Now the sample size could be a little skewed, but whatever. Besides the point, I'd be thrilled if I were a Connecticut fan, because that right there, that Rookie of the Year rankings, that right there shows that that you've got 3 nominees right there, and that shows that the future is really, really, really bright in Connecticut. Defensive Player of the Year. I really like that Nafisa Collier and Alyssa Thomas are in that conversation, because that just shows how they're really elite at what they do. They're not just offensive weapons, and obviously Nafisa, the defending Defensive Player of the Year, they're really like elite two-way players. I would totally understand if Asia Wilson won Defensive Player of the Year. I would totally understand if Alana Smith won Defensive Player of the Year, because she has played phenomenally this season on that end. But I say all that because, damn, this is the award that Gabby Williams needs to win. Like, she I know she's an all-star, and that's fantastic and good for her. But she is, I know there's more defensive stats than steals, but she leads the league, not the team, the league, the WNBA. She leads the league in steals, and she's led the league in steals the whole season. From start to finish, she has led the league in that category the entire season. And that is consistency if I've ever seen it. So this is her impact on that end, considering that Seattle is built like a defensive team. She has been the anchor on that end of the floor for this team. For this team, whether or not you consider the struggles or not, which obviously you should, but I'm speaking in defense of her, of course, no pun intended.
Right.
But this any award, you're going to piss off a fan base, right? Any award decision, you're going to piss off a fan base. But this is where I stand as a Seattle Storm advocate: is Gabby Williams needs to win this award. 6th Player of the Year. I like
before you get into 6th Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak on the Defensive Player of the Year. One thing that bothers me, because Minnesota has been promoting Fee winning as for MVP, but hasn't made any promoting Alana winning Defensive Player of the Year. So my question is, last year, shouldn't Alana Smith won Defensive Player of the Year? That's just a general question. Because the fact that really she's even in this, she's rightfully deserved, she's having a good year, but the fact that Minnesota hasn't even said, hey, consider her Defensive Player of the Year, and haven't seen that. And I'm thinking, well, last year, shouldn't she have been Defensive Player of the Year too? Am I missing something? I just want to really just point that out. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Naz Hellman's going to win either Most Improved. I think she should win either Most Improved or 6th Woman of the Year. I think she's going to win either one of those. If I'm putting all my savings on one award, I think, or one pick for an award, I think Veronica Burton's going to win. Out of those two, let me clarify. I think Veronica Burton's going to win 6th Player of the Year. Or I'm sorry, not sixth player of the year. Most improved. And you can read a little bit about why I wrote about an award later in this list, but I think Naz Hillman's a great pick, and I like the Natisha Heidemann love as well. Minnesota getting a lot of love, which rightfully so. They're playing like the best team in the league. I'm laughing because I'm moving on to the next award. Chris Coglianis, biggest snub of this list. No, in all seriousness, Coach Natalie Nakase is my coach of the year. I recently came out with an article about why I think she should win coach of the year. She has, I remember the podcast that we predicted the Valkyries record. I remember explicitly not throwing shade at you at all, but you said that they were going to win 0 games, and just because we didn't know the Valkyries.
I didn't say there was 0 games.
Yeah, I explicitly remember you saying they weren't going to win. They weren't going to win any games.
No, I didn't say that. Don't do that.
Okay.
I said they would win 14-15.
Okay. If I really was wrong, I apologize. But they weren't going to have as good of a season as they did. Okay. And it was mainly because we did not see the vision for this team. Similar to the Mercury, there were just a bunch of players on a roster, and they're coming in as an expansion team, coming in from the outside in. And you didn't really see the vision for this team. But Natalie Nakase did. And she said in her first season as a head coach, she said, this team has the potential to win games defensively. No matter what anybody says, I see the vision. This is how we're going to do this. And she came out and she did it. And even though, she came out, she surprised everybody up until midseason, and then she turns Kayla Thornton, obviously Kayla Thornton's a fantastic player, but she basically unleashed Kayla Thornton, turned her into an all-star. She gets to be an all-star for the first time in her career. The Valkyries get their first all-star. And then all hope seems lost in them making the postseason, in them even thinking about making the postseason, when Kayla Thornton goes down with a knee injury. But again, that didn't matter to Coach Nakase as she led the Valkyries. And she led the Valkyries to their first postseason berth in their first season ever as a franchise. That needs to be rewarded. And if you're going to reward the Valkyries with not just a playoff berth, with not just an all-star appearance, but if you're going to reward the Valkyries for what they've done, you have to reward the leader, the grand leader in Natalie Nakase. And that's why I think she should win Coach of the Year. No knock on what Carl Smesko is doing with the Atlanta Dream. No knock at all. But they have somewhat of a vision. You can see the vision with Atlanta at the beginning of the season. It was a little faint, but you saw the potential. I could see the potential in Atlanta. I really could. I remember us going over Atlanta at the beginning of the season, and I could see the potential, but it was very, very, very difficult, almost impossible to see the vision of what Golden State could be because they were so new to this league. And now that we've gone through the season, we've gone through the highs and the lows of a WNBA season, and more importantly, the Valkyries have gone through the highs and the lows of what they've been through. And because Kayla Thornton hasn't been the only injury they've had. They've had plenty of other injuries this season, but Coach Nakase has led them through this season to get to the postseason, to get to be one of the top 8 teams. They're a top 8 team in their first season. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, that doesn't happen. We've seen an expansion team. I forget who it was. I apologize. We've seen an expansion team finish over 500. Never make the postseason though, and you gotta give Coach Nakase the award or the proper flowers for making such history. And it's probably I remember I was gonna ask a question for this story. I didn't get the chance to, but I was gonna ask a question to Coach Reeves, and I remember her saying in the press conference right before they played Golden State, the not this last game, but the one before. She said, "I would not want to be an expansion team after watching Golden State because of the job that they've done." And unfortunately, I say unfortunately because Portland's coming next year. I kind of agree. I kind of agree. But it's a reflection of what she's done. So I mean that's what I'll say about Coach of the Year.
I do want to really quick clarify something. Okay, so in that video we're talking about the season preview, I did, and I do apologize, I did say, and this was before the season even started, we didn't know what they looked like on paper. I did say in the video they would win a game. But I did write an article.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I did write an article on teamabsmedia.com. I said they'll win 13 games in the midst of playoffs. Simply basically looking at their roster on paper and going like, okay. But I'm wrong. But they proved a lot of people wrong. There were people who said they'll win like 4 games, 6 games, and other stuff. So, but yeah, no. I'll eat my words on that. My apologies, sir.
Okay. I wanted to bring that up. I didn't know. I couldn't remember exactly, but okay. I'm glad we cleared that up. But either way, that's besides the point. You're right. They did prove a lot of people wrong. So, and Coach Nakase should get the proper flowers for the job that she's done with the Valkyries. All WNBA first team. I don't see anything wrong with this. Okay, I have a genuine question. Is the WNBA doing the same thing as the end? They're doing positions, right?
I think it's positionless. I think.
Okay, is it positionless?
I think so.
Okay, then. Wilson, Collier, Thomas, Alicia. Okay, Alicia Gray. Okay. Yeah, that looks right. Sorry, the gray threw me off because
sorry. Alicia Gray, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I'm focused on the team in Vegas, so that oh, I didn't see the A. My bad.
I meant to put
you
that.
Added
Sorry.
that. Okay. Never mind. Guys, it's almost 10 o'clock at night. I'm operating on fumes. All WNBA second team. Okay, good. Diggins, Young. Okay. Jackie Young. Yeah, Jackie Young has a really good really strong case for first team, by the way, guys. But I that's where the arguments come in. Aaliyah Boston. Honestly, I think if Indiana was healthy, they would have a better record, and I think Aaliyah Boston would get a lot more love than she's getting. I think record really or I think record and kind of the injuries kind of go hand in hand in this, but I think record kind of uh unfairly skews skews her out of the first team conversation, because I think she's having a fantastic year. But yeah, so far I agree with this list. It's really weird to see Breanna Stewart in WNBA third team, which in this or in the official thing wouldn't even be a thing, but
Yes.
but or in the official results it wouldn't be a thing, but in this scenario, obviously. But yeah, I mean everything checks out.
Thank you.
There's not really any. I'm not gonna be that guy who's like nitpicky over anything. I've done. I mean, the nitpicking that I've done, I've already done. So
For sure, it's all good. I did have one other final thought. So Unrivaled. So most of us will know that the off season has begun for a couple teams. Class as a whole, I want us to say with me. Unrivaled is a 3v3 league. It is not a developmental league.
no.
So I need y'all to really knock that crap off about developmental, because Asia, Caitlin, I think a couple other players declined not participating. And Shakira Austin talked about she will be going to Unrivaled, but then she's going overseas. So everybody can't be in Unrivaled.
You see, Haley Van Lith is coming to Unrivaled.
Yes.
Now y'all really screwed.
Well, I don't really anywho. AJ, can we get the one final thought, please? Thank you, sir.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this one final thought, we're running. It's a somber note, but I think it's really. I really want to give this young woman her flowers. Brenda, you probably know who she is. Tiana Mangakahia. Syracuse basketball, passed away on the 11th after a long battle of cancer. Oh man, her journey to beating cancer, and then unfortunately came back. Her last post, I believe, was on the 4th, and saying that she was experiencing some decline, and then after the cancer had progressed, and she passed away on September 11th. Ironically, this was interesting because it just was like, wow, because I saw it on Twitter and I'm thinking like, huh, like I didn't see anything like on like any like ESPN, nothing like that. So when I think of her, I think of Syracuse women's basketball because she definitely really, really, for the most part, was a good player for them. But I mean, Australian basketball for sure. She made her mark for them as well. I was really curious to see what she could have done in the W, but I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to her family. But I am going to play you're going to find this video on YouTube, and that is how we're going to end this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, and subscribe for our future content. You can also follow Brenden Potts. I'll leave his link in the description below for World Exposure Report. Also to follow his content as he's doing great work for the Seattle Storm. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end this episode with Tiana. Tiana, rest in peace.
One of the best point guards in all of college basketball.
Mangakahia.
Tiana Mangakahia.
It makes me think about when I decided to commit to Syracuse, how much that it has impacted my life.
When they said it was on New York, it's like, wow, that's the other side of the world.
Tiana is Tiana, and she wanted to do that. And as any parent, you want your child to, live the dream to the best that they can.
It's just been amazing here, and I just couldn't have asked for better support and help from the coaching staff and everyone.
We went out and got the best point guard we can find in the country. We got the best possible player that we can get to come in to put the ball in their hands.
This for 3 in the lead.
Just won the play of the year.
Under the rim, one layup, beats the buzzer, and wins it. Tiana Mangakahia gets it done.
Mangakahia answers.
Performance by Tiana Mangakahia, 44 points.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.
My name is Tiana Mangakahia.
Tiana Mangakahia.
Tiana Mangakahia.
Tiana on the sidelines.
Dear basketball, I met you when I was 5 years old. We've been on this journey together for 19 years, and I know we'll be doing life together for many more. Although we are on a break right now, I know you'll be the biggest part of my comeback journey. You've brought so many blessings to my life and have taken me on an adventure of a lifetime far from home. In Australia and Kansas and now Syracuse. I miss you, I love you, and I will be back soon.
At 6, now 5. Tiana springs to action in the lane, hesitates, driving, bumped under the rim. One layup, beat the buzzer, and wins it. Tiana Mangakahia gets it done, and the Orange in overtime win it.
So basketball has always been a part of your life. I remember when I was younger, it was always like if something was wrong or like if something was on my mind, I would always I'd go to practice and I wouldn't think about it. I miss practicing, who likes practice? No one likes practice. I hate practice, but I miss practice. I'm Tiana Mangakahia, and I've been diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer.
She found a lump on her left breast at just 24 years of age.
10,000 miles away from her native Australia.
I knew that it probably wasn't good news because of the way when I got my ultrasound, the way the lady kind of acted, she was like, I'm gonna go get the surgeon and the doctor and stuff. And I kind of from that day, I kind of thought that something was wrong. So the biggest challenge for me was probably losing my hair. I don't know, it's really different. I didn't realize how much my hair meant to me, and it's I've embraced it a lot. I feel like if I embrace the things that are challenging, it becomes more natural instead of a challenge. It's just, that's what it is.
When you're having one of those days, what keeps you going, motivates you, and what keeps you positive?
Watching that video from the ACC coaches.
Hey to my favorite point guard. Hey, Tiana, remember us? You single-handedly beat us in the ACC tournament.
Coach Hoover here from Wake Forest Women's Basketball.
Because sometimes, you think, I think, like, I'm not playing this year. Like, what if, I'm going to lose so much skill. And so I'm going to have to work, extra 10 times harder than I've ever worked before to get that back. And, I'll be cancer-free. But their message to me really helps, like me want to be in the gym. It helps me, it motivates me to, watch film.
1 for Syracuse. Mangakahia makes it 8.
She's a great point guard. She makes everybody better on the court. You know how they talk about LeBron being the greatest of all time because he makes everybody better, but then you have Giannis, who's MVP, and they separate them because when LeBron gets on the court, he's someone who can make the team better. That's Tiana. She can make the team better when she's on the court. I think taking basketball out the picture was what made it more sad for her because, when you're a basketball player, that's all you want to do. So when you're injured or anything like that and you take away the game you love, that's what made it sad to watch.
What has it been like being able to have someone like Emily?
It's going to make me cry because it's like, she probably doesn't realize how much, she helps. But even just like being there for me.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
She's been, I don't even say battling breast cancer. She's been beating breast cancer. She's been tearing it up. She's been kicking it. And this is the thing when it gets her back for a road to recovery and to life.
Tiana Mangakahia's surgery has been a success, and she is now cancer-free.
What I've been through, it's just like, I can't believe, I really got through it. Recovery was really hard because, I couldn't move really at all for, 2 weeks. There were a lot of things that I couldn't do. That was really hard, but eventually, I got through it,
I plan to play next season and get ready for the WNBA. Obviously, that's still my goal, and that's something I aspire to every day. That's what I think about, being able to get back on the court and play. I want to be the number 1 draft pick. I want to be the best point guard in the country. I look to basketball, for my life. I want to play professionally. I want to, I want it to be in my life forever. And obviously, it's not going to be because it never is, but playing. But yeah, it's just always been something that I love to do. It helps that I am, good at it. But yeah, it's always been something that I love doing.